Coming up next is Dr. Kimberly Taylor. Here's your chance to talk about what matters to you. Although you will receive helpful advice from Dr. Taylor, remember, this is not to be construed as a form of psychotherapy, diagnosis, or treatment, and cannot replace a therapeutic relationship with a mental health professional. You can reach Dr. Taylor by calling 564-1290 or toll free at 866-564-1290. You can also listen live on the internet at drkimtaylorshow.com. So here now is Dr. Kimberly Taylor.
If you've been in a serious romantic relationship, you've probably been guilty of being jealous at least once in your life. That green-eyed monster, as Shakespeare called it, can take root at any time and make you wonder if you're good enough, smart enough, attractive enough, or if your partner will find someone better. Jealousy is an emotion that's most commonly felt when somebody feels insecure, threatened, or vulnerable in their relationship. And the classic signs of jealousy include that sickening combination in the pit of your stomach, the fear of losing your partner, feeling of possessiveness, even anger at real or imagined attention from others towards your partner, and being suspicious of your partner's every move. Now, jealousy is very different than envy. You feel envy when you want something that someone else has. Envy is a feeling of resentful longing for someone else's possessions, their qualities, or even their luck. And it often happens when we compare ourselves to others. Jealousy is considered normal when it's provoked by a real and existing reason, such as infidelity, or when someone is withholding secrets from their partner. And in these cases, jealousy is really a valid and rational response to a situation. And it's present because it's actually trying to warn you that there may be a problem in your relationship, and you either have to talk with your partner or maybe seek professional help to overcome what may be a much bigger issue going on in your relationship. But jealousy, it's considered abnormal when there's no real threat present and it's only perceived without any factual basis for it. So you have to ask yourself, are your feelings based in fact, or are they stemming from self-doubt? If you've been wronged by someone in the past and then you start to mistrust others, it's really coming from within you. And in this case, it is yourself that you do not trust because you believe that the person who abandoned you in the past had good reason to. And that's the problem. You end up not trusting that anyone could love you enough to stay. The paradox of jealousy is that we all want to feel some of it, and we want our partner to feel it too, but in small doses, because in small doses, it's proof that you care for each other, and it kind of tests whether it's safe to invest more into the relationship. One of the biggest problems with your feelings of jealousy is that they can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you distrust your partner and then start snooping through their belongings, checking their cell phone, going through their texts, and constantly making accusations, chances are you're going to begin to act on these feelings in a very negative way, and ultimately that is what's going to drive your partner away. So only you can decide if your jealousy is insecurity or really an indication that something in your relationship needs a closer look. The key to really managing feelings like jealousy and insecurity lies not in trying to eliminate them altogether, but really in expressing them in the right way. So here are a few tips for handling jealousy. First, don't let it consume you. If you're feeling suspicious or threatened or unsure regarding your partner, check it out in reality. Better to say it than to show it with accusations and angry withdrawals. Next, look inside yourself. If you're constantly comparing yourself to others, chances are your self-esteem could use a real boost. Jealousy may be stemming from feelings of inadequacy, and therefore you have a responsibility to look within yourself for the answers. And 3, encourage openness in your relationship. The more open you both are about your individual relationships with others, the less jealous you're going to be. If it's innocent, you should be willing to volunteer the information freely. And 4, discuss what is acceptable in your relationship. You both need to have some separate interests and separate friends, but discuss what your expectations are about the interactions that you have with these friends of the opposite sex. And 5, one key to making the relationship work is to talk about your fears openly. Most of the time, jealousy is a symptom that someone is feeling insecure or threatened. So if you address the underlying feelings, then the jealousy will go away. And of course, it goes without saying that if you make your partner feel special, needed, and loved, then they will not feel threatened or afraid, and no one will be made to feel jealous. So if you have a question today or a comment or want to share your story, please feel free to give us a call at 564-1290 or toll free at 866-564-1290. I'll be here for the next hour to take your calls. So stay with me. I'm going to take a short break and I'll be right back. I'm Kimberly Taylor and you're listening to KZSB AM 1290.
You are listening to Dr. Kimberly Taylor. You can reach her by calling 564-1290 or toll-free at 866-564-1290.
We're back, and I'm here with Sandy Jacoy, our screener.
Yes, hi. It's so good to be here. I wanted to follow up on the show from last week on sexual assault. We have received, Dr. Kim, a number of emails from young girls that are sharing their stories and asking a lot of questions and expressing a lot of concern about their experiences with sexual assault, both on campuses and off campuses. And most of the questions in the emails surround, how do they actually protect themselves? And I just think it's a really important piece that we need to follow up on. We don't want to go without being able to follow up with these emails.
Well, and I'm so glad that it's really starting this conversation because we really need to be talking about this. When I see young girls in my practice, I really talk to them about being a smart girl. And I talk about what smart girls do. And smart girls, they take care of themselves. Smart girls learn to say no. Smart girls make sure that they like themselves and aren't waiting for someone else to like them first. So we talk a lot about what it is to be a smart girl so that they can have a sense of themselves. And when they feel good about themselves, they're less likely to get involved in some of this hooking up behavior that's out there. And it really gives them a sense that they have some power. They can choose what they want to do. Now, this does not discount the fact that in some cases, some of these people are victims and they did not choose this. But there is also a lot going on there that they can do a lot to protect themselves.
One of the questions that one of the girls emailed was that she sometimes would have an intuitive sense about something and then would not act on that. Yeah. For people that get that self-doubt and they start to ruminate and think about, what will this person think if I end this date or if I walk away from this? What kind of suggestions or what kind of advice would you give to them?
Well, I think the good news is that their gut is right on. So it isn't like we have to go and try and get them to figure out what it is that they know is the truth. Their gut tells them that. So the key is helping them to tune into that and then act on it. Because when you can do that, you're going to be able to trust yourself to handle all those things that you don't control out there. But you're going to have a sense of yourself that if you're following what you know to be true because your gut speaks to you, whether it's your intuition, but it does speak to you, it's telling you the truth all the time. And the goal is to tune in and act on it.
Yeah, and I think, too, in retrospect, looking back and thinking, well, maybe I overreacted, at that point, that's just more information for yourself. It doesn't mean that you need to make the decision next time that because maybe it wasn't completely right that I shouldn't act on it next time.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah. It is something that I believe is learned, and that we have to keep relearning it and relearning it because there's so much out there that we're focused on, and it's hard to kind of tune out the peanut gallery out there and to really tune into yourself. So it takes a lot of practice. This is part of why I think that a meditation is so good and that kind of mindful thinking, because it helps you to tune everything else out and really check in with yourself.
Well, I hope that's helpful for you young ladies that have emailed us today, that if you have any follow-up questions, to please feel free to email us with more. I know, Kim, for you, this is really an important part of your practice, and you feel very strongly about it.
Yes, and I hope to talk more about just being a smart girl and what that looks like, and to give some tips and some hints to help people.
Yeah. So if we can change gears here a little bit, I have some good news and some bad news. I don't know if you saw in the Huffington Post, there was an article, and it was on the news too, about the compound that's in red wine and chocolate, resveratrol. Have you ever heard of that? That's the part, that's the compound that we were supposed to give us more health benefits, and why we need to be drinking at least one glass of red wine and eating chocolate more often.
Yes, because it helps our heart, right?
That's right. It's definitely supposed to help with heart disease and cancer.
Okay,
and
so what is the bad news, Sandy? I hear it coming.
They found not so much.
Oh, no.
Actually, not so much. Actually, now what they found was that it actually does not help. It actually could serve to harm. But there is an exception, which is the exception that I'm hanging on to, which is that there was a study that found that have health benefits for fat mice. So if you are, resveratrol will extend the lifespan of fat mice, but it's important that it does not expand the lifespan of non-lean ones, as they put it, skinny mice. So if you're skinny, ain't going to do anything, but if you're a fat mouse, please feel free to consume as much red wine and chocolate and get those benefits. I'm hanging on to that one.
This is not a good day for you, is it?
No, not.
Okay, Sandy.
Especially after you have the excuse to be able to eat chocolate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Moderation. It seems like we keep coming back to that.
Yes. It's a bad day.
Bad day for Sandy. All right. Sorry, Sandy. Well, with that bit of news, I think I'm going to put my chocolate aside here, and I'm going to go to the calls. Hi, this is Dr. Kim, and we're on the phone with Rana. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
What's on your mind today?
Well, I'm at a place in my life. I'm 70. I'm 71. I'm going to be 72 in May. My family's healthy. My relationships are all good, except with me. I'm in a place in my life where I need to make a new life for myself. I sleep a lot, and I have all this time on my hands, and I know that I need to do something with the rest of my life, and I don't know what to do.
Okay. And how long have you been feeling this way?
Probably about a year. Like a year ago, my life really changed. I broke a femur in my leg, and from that, I needed surgery in my other leg to reinforce that, and then I had a couple of surgeries correcting acid reflux, and in the process, I've lost about 30 pounds. So my whole life changed, and I was working, and now I'm basically like semi-retired. And it's been a year of getting to know myself again. I never thought I'd be in this place, and now here I am, and I have all this time on my hands, and I know it's in a very high mental state place, but I sleep a lot, and I need to be doing something productive, and I don't know what to do.
Okay, but you have been through what sounds like a very rough year, and so that you do need to regroup at this point, because you are now feeling better, and maybe part of what's coming back is that now that you do have your health and you're feeling good again, it's time to give again.
Give what?
Well, that's a good question. um, if you could imagine the life that you want and that you would guaranteed success without any kind of failure, what would you be doing and who would you be doing it with?
I would be writing poetry and starting a collection where I could create, eventually having a book published, a book of poetry.
Mm-hmm. That sounds.
And doing that, I would be with my, because I was in a poetry class before all this happened, and I haven't had the energy to even think about being creative in this last year. And I do have writer friends who are published, and so that would create a social network for me, friends again.
Mm-hmm.
A place to go, something to do, and that would be one thing.
And how do you feel when you're writing poetry?
I'm kind of like outside of myself. I feel it's like it rises me above my own problems. I'm not even thinking about myself.
And of course, this whole last year, you had to think about yourself. You had to take a break. You had to step back.
Yeah, it's been it's not been easy.
No. Do you
to
think
be focused on me?
Okay. Do you think in some way you lost faith in yourself during that time?
Yeah.
How so?
I thought I was I had an idea of who I was, and now I don't know who I am.
Okay. Because during that year of healing and having to go through all that you did, you might have stopped believing in yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm very disappointed in my body, I'll tell you that. It let me down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's not, and I was taking good care of myself, I thought. Eating properly, exercising, vitamins, and so what? It didn't make a damn bit of difference.
Yeah, because guess what? Stuff does happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But when you stop believing in yourself, and then you start to see yourself, or because your body failed you, then you start to see yourself as a failure. It's very hard to start to believe in yourself again. And yet what you are describing is that you have something in your life that when you're in it, when you're doing it, when you're feeling it, it makes you feel above all of that.
Yes.
Okay. That's
but I can't seem to put pencil to paper right now. I just don't. I don't have the incentive. I know a thought passed my mind the other day. Just how these things do, and it startled me. And it said that my life is meaningless.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. So then I said, fine, give it meaning. But so what? I'm standing in front of a wall.
Well, I think that what you have been through, that those thoughts would come in, because those are the fearful thoughts. Those are the negative thoughts. And that your fear is that when your body was threatened and your life was threatened, that you weren't done yet, that there were things that you still wanted to do, needed to do. And so there is a very healthy part of you that is saying, yes, I want my life to have purpose. I want it to have meaning. And through poetry is a way that you have found in the past to find that and to be at that place.
Yes.
Okay.
It comes from me. It's totally me. I can give myself credit for whatever I create, and so it makes me feel productive and accomplished.
Mm-hmm. I think, Rana, this is your life force coming back, and you need to listen to it and begin to honor it again in your life as you have come through a very difficult year. These are the kinds of whispers you need to listen to and allow them to lead you in the direction you need to go. And right now, what you're going to have to do is really fight for it by becoming more disciplined, by forcing yourself perhaps to have a pad of paper in front of you and just start to write and spend some part of each day doing that, so that you start to spend some part of each day doing that which you say that you want to do, until you start to get into the motion and the practice and the discipline of doing it. And pretty soon your creativity and the motivation will start to come back.
Okay, right now it feels like I'm going to have to climb Mount Kilimanjaro to do it, but...
You are going to have to climb out of it. Write about it.
Yeah.
Write about the climb.
Okay, that's the first good thing I've heard.
Yeah.
That's the thing. What am I going to write about? You know, I feel so down, but all right, I could write myself out of it.
Yes, and write from where you are to where you want to go, and write the struggle. Write exactly what it takes. Write exactly what you're feeling. It's all right there. It isn't beyond there. It's right there. So go and write. Send us your first poem. I'd love to share it on air.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for the call. I'm Kimberly Taylor, and you're listening to KZSB AM 1290.
You are listening to Dr. Kimberly Taylor. You can reach her by calling 564-1290 or toll free at 866-564-1290.
Hi, this is Dr. Taylor, and we're on the phone now with Pam. Hi, Pam.
Hi.
Welcome to the program. What's on your mind?
Thank you for having me. My daughter is getting married, and I am worried about her expectations of this wedding, that I'm not going to be able to afford the whole thing that she wants. And I think there's going to be some disappointment from her with me. And I'm feeling bad about that.
Okay. And it sounds like the financial situation has changed for you. What you thought you would be able to afford is not something that you're going to be able to afford.
Yes.
And that's just the reality, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. What are you afraid of if you were to tell her what your reality is, what you can and what you can't do?
I think I'm probably afraid that she'll be mad at me, that in the past of saying what I could do, that I had a reality check and realized what I really only can do. And I think with the conversations of in the past of saying I'll give you the wedding of your dreams, and it still could be a beautiful wedding, but I'm just not going to be able to give her what I thought I would.
Okay, but it does sound like you can give her something, and with that she could have a nice wedding.
Yes, very much.
Why do you feel your daughter is going to be so unreasonable then?
She expects it.
Why does she expect it? Why are her expectations so great?
I think some of it is she's felt unfairly treated between her and her brother. She's older by 3 years, and she had to buy half of her car. He was given a car, brand new. He went to college for 4 years plus a semester abroad, and she chose not to go to college, although she did go to a school for a career that we, of course, paid for, but nothing on the same lines as the amount of money spent with college, and I think she just felt cheated, and we've often talked of it, and that when she did get married, you know, that we would be able to spend a good amount on a wedding that she wanted, but it's not the same anymore.
And where is her father? Is her father going to be a part of this also?
I hope so. She hasn't called him to talk to him about it.
Okay.
And
she will need to call him if she wants him to be a part of it. And that, I think one thing that you really need to hear, and parents need to hear, is that we don't parent our children fairly in that everybody gets treated the same because each one is different. Circumstances are different. Some go to college, some don't. Some have different needs. And so we're trying to cover all of those things. And it might never look quite fair because circumstances change and the kids are different. But what I'm hearing under this more is that she has a high expectation as if she is entitled to more. Is this kind of a running theme for her? Has this happened?
It's a running theme,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm feeling it right now.
And is part of that because you feel bad that you can't also give her the wedding of your dreams?
Yes.
So this is a real reality check. And people need to learn to live within their means. Does she normally live within her means?
No.
Okay, so she has a habit also of not living within her means, being in debt or overspending, wanting something and feeling entitled to it and going for it even though she can't afford it.
Sometimes, yes.
Okay, well, if not now, when? I mean, these kinds of lessons need to be learned. They're part of all of our lives. And to be able to be financially sound, to be emotionally sound, it all runs with the same vein here, that we need to deal with reality and not just what we want when we want it. It teaches her the wrong lesson if you are giving something that you don't feel good about giving, and that you are overextending yourself, and then she is overextending her expectations about what she thinks that she's entitled to.
She's actually coming over this evening, and I was going to have a card and a check, and rather than go through some of the drama that we've just already been through, to say, here's what I can give you and your fiance willingly, I'm excited to be part of it. Here's what I can contribute. It's a gift from me to you, and you take care of the wedding that you want.
That sounds great, because then you are really giving a gift. And if she is not accepting of that, that's her issue to work with. She can either earn her own money, she can choose to go in debt, she can ask for money from her father, her fiance can also chip in. They can find more money if that's what they want to do for this particular day. But I think teaching her that you are going to live within your means and that you're not going to overextend is a very good lesson to be able to still give to her. I am going to, I think, go to an email right now that I have here. It says, Dear Dr. Kim, I have been dating a man for 18 months. We met through a mutual friend, and it was a fast romance. After a few months of dating, I quit my job and began working for him and moved into his home with my son. Shortly after I moved in, I began to notice that he would start to question and protest against any time that I had scheduled away from him. If I wanted to go out with a girlfriend, he would accuse me of wanting to go meet other men. He checks my social pages and he checks my phone. He says he trusts me, but the control is getting worse. I'm feeling like a hostage in this relationship. I think that he never got over being cheated on by his ex-wife, and he's probably projecting the distrust onto me. In parentheses, she states, as you can see, I have done some therapy myself. I am getting to a point where I'm questioning if I want to marry him. I just need him to stop. Do you think we can overcome this? Bethany. Well, the first thing that I think that I would say to you is that this is one of those cases where I would say that you have to get yourselves into therapy. There are a lot of issues that each of you probably bring into this relationship, and they're from your past, and some of these needs have to be revealed, and this is probably best done with a skilled professional. What I will say is that your boyfriend fears that the reason he was cheated on by his ex-wife was probably because there was something wrong with him. So he's feeling like he needs to try to prevent that from happening again by checking up on you. And all of these jealous and suspicious behaviors that you are describing are from a person that doesn't believe in his own specialness. And this stems from a deep sense of inadequacy because he feels that you will probably ultimately see this too and leave him. you're probably feeling like right now he needs for you to be perfect and to do what he wants so he can somehow guarantee that he will never be hurt again. But let me tell you, there's nothing that you can do to reassure him enough to meet these demands. The other half of the dynamic is probably you and what's going on with you. From what you said is that you kind of jump into a fast romance, and after only a couple of months, you're moving in with him. So it sounds like you probably like to get close and actually want that. But then something happens and you withdraw and pull back because the intensity is too uncomfortable for you. And that's probably what he's feeling also, is he feels this as a potential abandonment. So most likely the two of you and your issues fit together like a key and a lock. His insecurity about not being good enough is probably matched with your insecurity of others getting too close. And that's why I say that both of you could really benefit from therapy to understand the underlying dynamics and to have some help to bring them to the surface so that each of you can learn to grow and evolve past your own fears. The truth is, if you want love, you have to be willing to give the ultimate love, which is to trust and believe in the other person's love for you. Stay with me. I'm going to go to a quick break, and I will be right back after that to take your calls. I'm Kimberly Taylor, and you're listening to KZSB AM 1290.
You are listening to Dr. Kimberly Taylor. You can reach her by calling 564-1290 or toll-free at 866-564-1290.
Okay, we're back, and I have on the phone with me Thea, who is from the Mental Wellness Center, which is a private nonprofit that provides recovery, education, and family services to adults and families that are affected by mental illness.
We do provide recovery, education, and family services to those with mental health diagnoses in our community and their families. We focus primarily on adults in our Recovery Learning Center, and we serve approximately 300 clients a year in the Fellowship Club, as well as about 1,500 total people served annually. In the Fellowship Club, members get support groups and activities. It's a safe space for people with mental health challenges to be, to socialize, to learn, to gain work skills, perhaps do some art. We have a computer lab as well, and they get a hot meal every day. So primarily the funds will go to support the Fellowship Club, in addition to our education programs that we take both into the local schools and for people to learn more about mental health challenges.
And you also have an evening wellness program now, correct?
We do. It's quite new. It started in November, and it's building more and more as the days go on. It's our community evening wellness program. All of our services are free to the public except for one class that we offer called Mental Health First Aid, which is basically like a first aid certification for mental health and allows people to be a first responder in a mental health crisis situation. So our community evening program is different, and it's Tuesdays and Thursdays from about 5:30 to about 8 p.m. The classes vary, but we do have yoga and Tai Chi. We have a wellness recovery action plan group for people to really focus on their own recovery. We have family support groups both in English and in Spanish, and a sibling support group as well, which just got started recently. So we have some interesting offerings. We've done art therapy work as well, and we're hoping to add to the offerings as time goes on.
So how would people become involved in this and to be able to participate?
Well, we're located at 617 Garden Street on the second floor, and anyone who's interested in becoming a member of the Fellowship Club is welcome to come to our office, and then we can send people downstairs to the club, and they can get enrolled, and they fill out a goal sheet to really focus on their recovery goals, and then they're welcome to be a member from then on out. We also have family services, and all of the other services that are not within the Fellowship Club are offered upstairs on the second floor. The educational programming, as well as any resources that people might need. We have connection to a lot of local resources that families and those with mental health diagnoses might need. So oftentimes we're the first stop for people who have just received a diagnosis in their family or themselves. So everyone is invited to come visit us, and if you'd like to take a tour, we have tours on the 4th Thursday from 5:30 to 6:30, and the 4th Friday from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And we'd love to have visitors. Just come check us out and see what we have to offer.
Okay, so that they can come to your space at, what is the address again? 617 Garden Street?
617 Garden Street in downtown.
Okay.
Cross street is Coda.
Okay, or else they can call you and or go to your website. So why don't you give those two once more?
Of course, our general phone number is 805-884-8440, and that would be to our receptionist, and she will be happy to direct people appropriately. And our website, once again, is www.mentalwellnesscenter.org.
Thank you, Thea, very much for coming on and letting us know about this. We're going to be right back right after this break. I'm Kimberly Taylor, and you're listening to KZSB AM 1290. As we are coming to a close, I want you to think about that you can take out an insurance policy against jealousy by trying to nurture your own relationship. And the feelings that you invest now to make your partner feel loved, to feel needed and special, is going to pay off in major dividends for the future. If you have any suggestions for the show or topics that you would like to have covered, or you have a question, I'd love for you to send me an email. You can do that at drkim@drkimtaylorshow.com. And I want to let you know that there are now several ways that you can tune in and participate on the Dr. Kim Taylor Show. Of course, you can listen here at KZSB AM 1290 every Thursday afternoon from 2 to 3, or you can listen to the program live on the Internet by going to my website. And if you want to listen to any past shows, you can now download them for free as a podcast on iTunes. And if you subscribe through iTunes, you will also automatically be sent the podcasts as they become available. And these are also going to be posted on my website, so you can also go there. So I want you to check it out. There's no excuse now for not trying to check in. This Sunday, I am also going to be taking your phone calls and trying to answer some of your questions, and you can check out my website for information on how to contact me on that day. So all of this is at drkimtaylorshow.com. I'm going to be here next Thursday afternoon between 2 and 3, just like I am every Thursday. So I hope that you will be here too, or to listen to the rebroadcast Thursdays at 10 p.m. and Sundays at 9 a.m. right here at KZSB AM 1290. Meanwhile, I hope that you have a great week. I hope you stay cool. And I want you to remember, nobody else has to change in order for you to get better. And here's the little secret. When you stop asking others to make the change for you and you actually take responsibility and do that work, then others will just have to change in reaction to your change. Think about that. So I will see you next Thursday.